Howdy y'all and welcome back to 29 Down the Line. In this video, I'll be riding Amtrak Silver Meteor Train 98 from Orlando, Florida all the way to Alexandria, Virginia. We start early afternoon, right about 1:30, and our train was a little delayed, so we left shortly after that. But this old station in Orlando is the current Amtrak station, and at different points in its life served as a seaboard coastline station and an Atlantic coastline station. And it's really one of the most beautiful small Amtrak stations I've seen.
Attention please. This is the last call for Amtrak Silver Star Train 91 en route to Miami with intermediate stops. Passengers should proceed to track 2. Please remove any travel documents from the room and have them ready for standing by the conductor. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
Here's some historical stuff. This is the Silver Star down in Miami, now we're getting, but it's still here. It's a nice poster advertising the Wi-Fi for the Silver Meteor, which will be on in just a couple hours. Also one of the nicest train stations I've seen, especially considering it's so small, but I like it. Cool old station. While waiting for the train, we went to get some lunch. There was a hot dog stand at the station, but instead we went to the Wendy's not too far away, where we saw this really cool looking bird. We don't really have any of these where I'm from. Unfortunately, we decided not to get
a $5 bikey bag,
but the food was still decent. A few minutes after getting on the train, we left Orlando northbound out of the track closest to the station building. The platform you can see in the video now is actually closed, either for some platform maintenance or maybe some track maintenance. I'm not really sure. As you can probably hear, Orlando Station has a really interesting feature of having crossing bells and flashers between the different platforms on the pedestrian crossings over the tracks, so I thought that was weird. The flashers were really short, so I imagine a dwarf signal, but a railroad crossing flasher. It's the Sunrail station. Unfortunately, this is the closest thing I could get to riding Sunrail, because I was in Orlando on the weekend, and yeah, Sunrail only runs weekdays, unfortunately. So the stations are pretty close together, but it seems like it does a pretty good job of serving downtown, and seems to have, decent all-day frequency, so not too bad for a regional rail.
If you are joining here at the Orlando station, please have your tickets out at the conductor comes around to scan your tickets.
This is a great bus connection at Link Central from Sunrail. I think, it's great to have a cross-platform transfer, and from train to bus, couldn't be easier than that. About 20 minutes in, we reached our first intermediate stop of Winter Park, Florida. All those people just groaned that they're going to be stuck behind a train with no way to make a U-turn. Once we got outside of Orlando and its suburbs, we finally picked up some speed. As it turns out, Florida is really, really, really flat. And there's the front of our train. We are way outside of downtown. But this is where the station is. It's location 3 instead of the letters they used to use. The first town, once we got into Georgia, we came to was Folkston, and can we please get them an Amtrak station? They got a Chessie caboose, they got a cute little downtown. We saw some wild foamers, so, you know, I like this town needs a station. The next one's Jessup, so it's pretty far away. Our first station in Georgia was Jessup. Seems like a pretty small town, and the station wasn't too big either. We were eating dinner in the cafe car, which I forgot to film the interior of because I guess I was just focusing on the outside and also, you know, eating my dinner. But it's an Amfleet 2 cafe car. I don't know why I didn't get pictures. We left Jessup shortly after and got a better view of the town. I did want to say that it has really good curb appeal, at least to the railroad, so I guess rail appeal, if that's a thing. Ballast appeal, I don't know. But it looks like a really nice little town. Glad that, you know, Amtrak serves smaller towns. And I'm not sure if it's just because it's out in the middle of nowhere or because it's just so far from the next cities, because it's the only stop on the Silver Meteor between Jacksonville and Savannah. So maybe they just decided that this was a good place to put one. But overall, it was a decently long stop, actually. And we did come to a stop again, as you're about to see. But yeah, they got this cool little fountain, little archway. Very cute little town. As we left Jessup, we finished the rest of our dinner, and I actually got the newer Italian stromboli that they have on the menu. I don't like it as much as the old one. The old one is just cheese. The new one has a lot of meat still in like a similar pocket of bread, but there's a lot of air inside, but I miss the old one. I still, the best value for those dinner type items that aren't sandwiches, at least for like the protein you get, maybe might be the burger. I mean, the burger's not bad, so that might be my favorite. We're at Savannah. Just nowhere near the actual city. Well, I think we are, but it's kind of hard to tell. As we left Savannah, we paralleled a freight train also going in a northbound direction. What's cool about this train is it demonstrates perfectly where the Silver Meteor and Silver Star split off from each other. So the Silver Meteor takes a more coastal route, staying closer to cities like Charleston, and the Silver Star takes a more western inland route, serving the inland side of the Carolinas. So as you can see, the freight train takes the left track, which is the one the Silver Star branches off onto, and we stayed on the route the Silver Meteor normally takes. We're in South Carolina. After we got into the Carolinas quite a ways, they turned on the lights in the coach because it got dark outside, and we got some sleep as well. In the morning, I woke up somewhere in Virginia. This footage is from south of Quantico, but I know I was half awake for going through Richmond Staples Mill, so I'm not actually exactly sure what time I woke up at. What was interesting about our train is that for the weekend we were riding, they were doing some track work, so the line was closed until a certain time in the morning. I forget exactly when, but they were holding our train at Fredericksburg for 60 extra minutes. The benefit of that is we had an extra 60 minutes of padding, so in Fredericksburg we did show up late. However, we didn't hold, we just kept going because we were so late. We had eaten up that hour of extra time. So what that meant was we actually got to Alexandria only 1 minute late. We left Orlando late and got to Alexandria just a minute after we were supposed to, which on an Amtrak long distance train is pretty good. It was pretty good, and I got an extra hour of sleep from not having to get up at like 6:30 in the morning, so instead we got off the train at around 7:55. Just for some full context, we were scheduled to leave Orlando at 1:36 p.m. on the 1st of June and to arrive at Alexandria at 7:54 a.m. on the following day. We're here. Very few people getting off, which is unusual for me, but I'm used to the Northeast Regional, I guess. Just got off in Alexandria, now we're going to Bobanitas. Hopefully it'll be delicious. Bobanitas Diner, pretty good, pretty quick, easy. I mean, diner food's usually pretty good, but super convenient to the metro station, so we'll be getting on the train in just a few minutes. So I filmed way too much metro footage, but it's a good problem to have. So in closing, my thoughts on the Silver Meteor were, it was pretty good. I would absolutely do it again. It was a lot cheaper than flying. Tickets were only about $93 for a coach ticket, if you book enough in advance, at least as far as we did. And yeah, so overall, nice trip. Sleeping overnight was a little difficult, just because, there's always people moving around. There's just, it's not silent, but they definitely do their best to try to make it a livable space for, sleeping. And the seats do recline quite a bit. There are footrests and everything. So overall, definitely not a bad experience. I would do it again. A lot of people getting on. No one else, one other person getting off. Not counting the driver. Or wait, was that the driver? Yeah, that was the engineer. So, just me and my brother getting off. That is it. Maybe it's just me, but I do love using a charm card way out in Ashburn. It's just great. I mean, as the card says, transit truly is a gift. I feel like riding Amtrak for 18 hours is questionable, but then there's people who do it for 40, 50, just, across the whole country. So I feel like I'm, right in the middle of the pack there. But definitely had a good time. Good experience. Cafe car was fine. Overall, good experience. And after all that, just wanted to say thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It's all greatly appreciated. And if you want to take your own interstate Amtrak trip, I would definitely recommend it. Maybe start shorter if you haven't done any train trips before. But if you've been on a few shorter ones and you're ready for a longer one, I say go for it. And again, I appreciate all y'all watching and engaging with the channel. And I'll see y'all next week.